It has almost been a year when we met last. So there was a season a year ago where we had a series of interviews, and I was blessed enough to put certain questions to him. So they ranged from fear to the role of the teacher in our lives to what's the difference between Osho and Jiddu Krishnamurti. So everything that I had in my mind, I basically poured that to him. Today, because when I was told that I have to basically do one more interview with you, instead of coming up with something that is an idea or a concept or a theme as the previous ones were, I decided to come up with a phenomenon that's so prevalent and so ubiquitous. It's almost there. I mean, even now in this very room it is there. So today we are going to talk about a phenomenon, something that is happening, and we are a part of that happening. The spiritual industry. An industry is something that produces, which manufactures a particular commodity. This is the basic definition of an industry. Of late, in last 2 centuries, this industry has popped up. It says, I would manufacture peace / moksha / enlightenment / love. It promises to do that. Self-help books, self-help authors, motivational speakers, everything. Gurus, godmen, everybody claims to give us that which we don't have. Peace / moksha / enlightenment / love. I want to know from you, is everything sellable? If yes, what are you selling?
Might claim a lot of things, but the best answer can be given by those who are buying. So what is it that they are receiving? They are the ones who can most authentically state this. What is it that they are getting? When I come forth and speak, I'm saying a few things. The saying is primary. The result of the speaking is secondary. Unpredictable and largely unmanageable. So I really do not know what it is that reaches the other. I may hope that it has a certain effect on the other, but I really do not know what is it that reaches the other. That is why I said that those who buy are in a much better position to answer your question. Ultimately, what matters to the recipient or the customer in your parlance is what he gets. What is it that comes to his hands, right? Are you interested in what am I selling, or are you interested in what you get? Usually, in normal business, what is sold is also what is bought. But here, that might not be the case. What starts from here may not be the same entity that is received there. Now, what is received there is something that I hope for, something that I may speculate about, but something that is not really within my control. I can pray, I can keep faith, but I can't manage that. So, at my end, all that I know is, how does it start? At your end, you have to tell, how does it end? When it reaches your hands, what becomes of it? What shape does your reception provide to it? My end, all I can say is, there is something that is in tremendous need of being expressed, so it is expressed. If it is not expressed, at the very intimate level, it would be a personal loss to me. I'm not really thinking about the welfare of the world in the first place. It is expressed because I can't help expressing it. But even as I express it, there is a realization, rather there is a faith that that which is being expressed is also tremendously good for all those who receive it. But that, as I said, is a mere helpless faith. What happens to it really in your hands, I do not know. So you can ask me, from where do I produce? That I can answer. But what is being received by you is not something that I can be very sure of. So you ask me, what do I sell? If by that you are asking me, what is the product like when it is in my hands, I can say something about it. You want me to go forth on this? I would, sorry. In my hands, the thing is pure beauty. I am absolutely in love with it. I can't live without it. I have to return to it again and again. The more I go away from it, even for a little while, even for a few hours, if the situations so demand, I feel its pull. Even physically, I feel it pulling me back. So that is the quality, the characteristic of the thing when it is with me. When it is with me, it sits in my heart. And then it gets expressed through my actions and through my words. Then you receive it. I don't know what happens to it then. When it is with me, it is beautiful. It is overpowering. It has a certain certainty. It is something that you can be absolutely sure of. Absolutely sure of, without thinking, without justifying. It controls you so much that it doesn't leave you with any space or time for justification, thought, argument, or contradiction. It possesses you. That's me. It possesses me. And then one says what one says. That's what is being sold from here. That's what starts from here. I really wish it stays this way during its journey to everybody, that it reaches in the most uncontaminated way possible, that the process of transmission and reception does not corrupt it. I can only pray.
My question still stands unanswered. So basically, wanting you to tell me about that very object which you're out here to share. Because if
you're asking about the object that I'm here to share,
because I'm still and playing the devil advocate, and that I really want to deeply,
please.
Because I would throughout try and maintain a vocabulary that would be off the market. I mean, merely mystifying things and saying that it is that and all of that, I mean, doesn't suffice to an audience which is so habitual of, I mean, naming everything and all of that. So I'm basically deeply interested in asking, what is it that you want to share with the world? What is it that you are, I mean, I don't want to use it, but I would selling.
You asked of two things. One is the object that I'm selling, and second, what is it that I want to share? Now, for something to be sold, it is essential that there is a demand from the other side, right? When you demand an object, then you will always find someone to sell you an object, right? You demand a brick, you will have somebody selling you a brick. You demand a laptop, a pen, a house, you will have somebody selling you these things. Do you always demand an object? Because you would be sold what you ask for. Are you always asking for objects only? If you're asking for objects only, there are markets dealing in objects. And there the trading is very direct, fathomable, objective, material. But are you always asking for something objective? If you're always asking for something objective, then surely you will have somebody who will be giving you something objective. If you ask for gross objects like a brick, you will get a brick. If you ask for subtle objects like an impression, like a thought, like a concept or an ideology, you'll have somebody selling these to you as well. You ask for subtler objects like egolessness, like love, compassion, truth, emancipation, enlightenment, you'll have somebody selling you these as well. But do you always ask for these only? Is the mind never asking for a cessation of asking? As long as you are there to ask for something, I assure you, you will have somebody providing you what you ask for. Whatever you ask for, there would be a source of supply available to you. What is it that you ask for? No, I don't deal in bricks, that is obvious. I don't have a brick in or a godown. Whatever I am saying, you can either take it as an as a subtle object. You can codify, conceptualize whatever I am saying, and then you will be receiving from me certain concepts which could have a certain fineness, which could have a certain intellectual value. But if you're not looking for objects, then it is totally different. Totally different.
So you basically prefer to keep that unnamed. You would rather...
No, I'm not keeping it unnamed. I can talk about it incessantly. It's not about not talking of it or keeping it unnamed, because that too is a very ancient selling tactic. If you are totally in dark about it, say that it is the unnameable, unthinkable, and don't talk about it. You don't talk about it not because it is beyond your talking, but because you are operating very much within the domain of knowledge, and there you are not finding enough of substance to say, to talk of. I can talk about it. What am I sharing? I'm sharing this. I mean, I'm liking that we two are able to conversate freely.
Right.
I'm liking it that not much of pre-arrangement has been done for this conversation. This is what I'm selling. I'm selling that, this thing that is here. You remember it was wrapped in a silver foil,
Right.
and it's here, and it's a little coarse, but still it is totally befitting the occasion.
Right.
This and this are more one now.
They were before.
The silver foil would have created some kind of a division. So this, I'm liking the fact that we are sitting on pretty much the same chairs that we were sitting an year before when you last talked to me as an interviewer. I'm liking the fact that those who are here don't have to think as they are listening to us. We haven't done anything, and we don't intend to do anything that puts their simple trust in doubt. I like the fact that this little oasis that we have, it operates almost like a jungle, but still has a beautiful rhythm, a beautiful order. Things keep getting done. I like the fact that there are 5 rabbits here, and those who live and work here, they too find that some of the rabbitness has rubbed off on them. So if we are talking about the Atman or the truth, it's not as if one can't talk of it.
Right.
I can talk of it continuously till we meet again next week. I like the fact that whatever I'm saying right now is something that I've never said before. That is something that I want to share. That is what I am selling. I hope what I am saying reaches you. Yes? The source might probably be unnameable, but it sings in 1,000 ways. Its imprint is visible on everything that you are, everything that you touch, everything that you do. So it is not at all as if you can't talk about it or you must be diplomatically silent about it. I need not be silent about it. Why must anybody be silent about it? What I'm talking of is all pervasive and affects my activities and movements and moods, moment to moment. How is it possible that it is impossible to say anything about it? Are you getting it? In fact, more can be said about it than can be said about anything else, because everything else is limited to a particular domain, a particular area. It has a particular limit. So if you want to talk about that water bottle, after a point you will be stretched. After a point you can say no more, because the water bottle has its limits. But if you want to talk about that which I am talking of, you can just go on.
What is it that you are talking about?
This moment to moment living, this is it. Don't you like it to have a certain quality? Don't you like it to have a certain freedom? Don't you like it to have a certain warmth? Don't you like it to have a certain sureness? Don't you want to be doubtlessly with somebody, with anybody? Don't you? So that's what I'm talking of. And that's something worth sharing. But even the word sharing is such a poor depictor of what I'm saying, because you share something when you have it and the other probably doesn't have it. What I'm talking of is something that you anyway love. Anybody here who does not love to be loved? Anybody here who doesn't love quietness? Anybody here who doesn't love an environment free of suspicion? So why do I need to share it with you? It's already something that is in you and you demand. Don't you demand all these things? You ask for these things. So it's not a question of me coming out as someone who is opulent with something special,
Right.
and he wants to be compassionate, and in his great divine love he wants to shower the goodies upon the whole impoverished world. None of that.
The conventional image of a prophet.
No, none of that. I have one life. Even if we take the average age to which one lives, I have probably already lived more than half of it. Just like anybody else, I want to live rightly. I don't want to squander this life. Is that a motivation too hard to relate to? Is that something too hard to understand? Why must you always look for an extraordinary purpose? Why can't you believe that a fellow might just be living, and in the whole flow of living, in the whole process, he might be touching several other people, coming across a large number of people, having lots of relationships, and those people might be getting touched and transformed because of him, and it's a reciprocal thing. Those people who he comes across, they in turn to touch and transform him. It's as ordinary as this. There would be something in my mind which would not be the same after this interaction. It is not a one-way thing where the teacher is an epitome of perfection and he's coming out to hold the hands of others and pull them to perfection. It's a reciprocal thing, it's a two-way thing. And that's what is happening. A man is living simply out of his simple self-interest, one life, at most a few decades left, limited energy, limited resources. Why waste it? Why waste it? Now that appears materialistic, worldly, mundane, not spiritual at all. You don't see any touch of charisma in it. That's your problem. You manage it. I'm all right. You see, what happens is when you demand the extraordinary, why don't you see this? You will have just so many who will be prepared to sell you the extraordinary. When you demand the extraordinary, you are, by your own confession, demanding something that you do not know of, right? When you say you want the extraordinary, you are asking for something that you do not know of, correct? When you are asking for something that you do not know of, then anything can be sold to you. So in demanding the extraordinary, you will get that which is not even ordinary. Are you getting it? No, you do not know what you are asking for. Give me some strange word. Give me some strange word, please.
Pipa Pupa.
Pipa Pupa. Now you do not know what Pipa Pupa is, but somebody has told you that Pipa Pupa is a wonderful thing. It gives you a feeling of high. You feel as if you are flying. You feel as if all the worldly shackles have fallen down. Now you are going places. You are all over the market begging for Pipa Pupa. And if I have happened to be a businessman of even half a mind, what would I do? I'll look at you. I'll look at your desperation to get Pipa Pupa. And what would I do? I'll say, you come over. Pipa Pupa. That's something rare. You know what? Not at all easily available. But I'll give you Pipa Pupa. Now Pipa Pupa, because it is rare and very valuable, demands that you offer everything that you have to it. You have to surrender totally. So please surrender. Yes, and then you empty your pockets. And he says, no, the back pocket as well. Yeah, yes. And why? Why are you so attached to this jacket? Off with the jacket, please. Anything that you hold on to is an attachment, and you must leave all your attachments to me. Keep it here. Pipa Pupa is not for those who are tied to lesser things. So give me all your lesser stuff and I'll give you Pipa Pupa. Right? And then I say, all right, today is the first day of your Pipa Pupa training. And you are willingly enrolled in the course. And then a week passes, and then a month passes, and then you come up and inquire, you know what, I have been gradually disinvesting myself of all my possessions. They have all gradually moved to you. When would I be able to experience Pipa Pupa? And the seller, the teacher, the guru, then makes a stern face and says, you know the worth of Pipa Pupa? Just by giving these trivialities up, you want to get Pipa Pupa in exchange? Now, unless you give up your impatience, no Pipa Pupa for it. You are greatly attached to one more thing, your impatience. Give it up. And now another thing happens. The more you don't get Pipa Pupa, the more you become convinced that it is something more valuable than your imagination. Because you have invested so much in getting it and you are still not getting it. So both your reverence and your desperation keep deepening. Are you getting this? The more you want something extraordinary, the more you allow yourself to be fooled. And if you come to a point where your patience starts breaking down, then you could be given something that is self-validating. The teacher might tell you that now, today, you have crossed the first hurdle. Today, when you will go back to home, you will experience a sublime peace. And for sure, you will experience sublime peace when you go home. Because you have already been told that that peace is coming to you because of your investments, because of your effort, because of all that which you have put in. So you will experience that peace. And you will be utterly convinced that it is actually happening to you. In fact, you won't want to hear that nothing like it is happening. It is just some kind of auto-hypnosis. The thing about chasing extraordinariness, is it not very, very prevalent? Is it not something that anyway keeps us tied down? Does it not keep us restless? And we seek that constantly.
So basically, it's ordinariness that you are living, and that you are also out here to spread. I've come from sell to share to spread now. It is ordinariness. And one more point that I would like to...
It is very ordinary to want the welfare of the other. I would find it highly extraordinary to not to respond when somebody is bleeding in front of you. And I'm not saying that it is rare and divine compassion. I think it is basic humanity. You may want to call it enlightenment. I think it is basic humanity. Is it not? And you share it with me. We all have this in common. Yes? The fact that you can listen to me right now, and that the fact that I can look at your faces right now is facilitated by the fact that we all are peaceful right now. Had some of us been turbulent, disturbed, that would have affected everybody. So in your welfare lies my welfare, and in one person's welfare lies the welfare of the entire group. Is that not a matter of very easy observation? Yes, one does not need to call himself special just because he wishes the good of the other. It is a matter of basic self-interest that one person's good is deeply linked to the good of the other person, unless you get into the competitive mode, unless you get into the extraordinary gear. When you get into the race for the extraordinary, the hope for that which is rare, the hope for that which is not easily available, is always in short supply, then there is competition. Then you say that it has become a zero-sum game. If I gain something, then you will have to lose it. Otherwise, if you are living ordinarily, even if you look at the natural world, the sustenance, survival and welfare of one species is directly linked to the sustenance, survival and welfare of the other species. If there is one thing that a lion would wish for, it is that the deer should multiply. You see this. The lion would be praying every day that the deer must have long life. Do you see how even the welfare of the lion is linked to the welfare of the deer? If the deer disappear, what happens to the lion? Gone. So even when you are hunting the other, look at the natural world, even when you are hunting the other, you really want that the other, if not in singular, then in plural terms, even when you are hunting the other, you want that the other should keep well, should do well. May your tribe increase. May there be more deer. You see, if he sees the lion, if he sees a bull deer and a cow deer mating, would he go and disturb them? He knows they are doing it for me. Do you see this?
Yes.
He would in fact stand guard. He would say, something divine is happening. Please don't disturb. Even the ancient stories contain such things. That a lion was about to attack a pregnant deer. And when he learns that she is pregnant, he leaves her. Now there is nothing extraordinary in this. Don't you see it's a matter of basic living and survival and coexistence? Compassion is something very ordinary, very, very simple. The way I am presenting it right now makes it overly simplistic. But don't quarrel with that. Please try to look at the direction in which I am trying to take you. The prevalent model of spirituality and the image of the spiritual teacher is all just bogus. If I could say that in capital letters, if I could italicize that, or if I could shout it out, I would do that. The one thing that a teacher cannot be is someone special. I'll quote my loved one on this, Kabir. Takes me a while to. He says, Satguru aisa kijiye लोभ मोह भय नाही, दरिया से न्यारा दिखे, दरिया से न्यारा रहे, दिखे दरिया माही। सतगुरु ऐसा कीजिए, लोभ मोह भय नाही, दरिया से न्यारा रहे, दिखे दरिया माही। For all practical purposes, he must appear to be in the flow. Kabir is saying, only he is the teacher who does not become a teacher out of reasons of greed or fear. Staying in the flow of the world, Darya is the river, the flow of the world. Staying in the flow of the world, he is actually out of it. Nyara. Nyara means different, separate. This ordinariness, that behaviorally, practically, he is just what anybody else is extremely important. Unfortunately, the spiritual seeker goes to seek precisely because he wants the extraordinary. He wants someone who does not appear to be in the flow. And you make it then easy for the sellers. Because if what you want is at the appearance level, then appearance can be very easily manipulated. Kabir is saying just the opposite. He is saying appearance wise he must be just what everybody else is. You must not even be able to put your finger on him. If he is sitting here, you should be unable to tell which of these is the real one, the Guru. He must totally mingle with you like a drop in the river. Dikhe Darya Mahi, just as the river is flowing and there are all the little streams and the drops going along with it. Similarly, the teacher too must appear the same way, very ordinary, very, very ordinary. So that gives you one of the tests with which to detect a fake teacher. He will have a constant desire to appear special. And appearance is always at the level of the senses. So he will do all the things that appeal to your senses. Know a false teacher by his inclination to look different. He would be wearing special kind of clothing. He would be paying particular attention to his get-up. The first thing that you will find attractive about him is his dressing. Attractive or distinctive, whatever. Because when you are looking for something distinct, then what is distinctive is also attractive. And if you are so gullible and begging to be exploited, then he is only giving you what you are asking for. You asked for exploitation, he will exploit you. You can't even blame him. Because had you not gone to him, you would have gone to the next shop. If you have presented yourself to be duped, then how is one fellow any worse than the next one who dupes you?
So when we look around in this industry, there are many players and everybody is talking about extraordinariness, right? Nobody would say what you had just said.
No, they may just say this because saying this is so easy.
Right, that's what I was coming to.
And if you say this with enough flavor, then even these words can appear very extraordinary. You know, the ego can co-opt anything. You know what? He's so special that he lives in a very ordinary way. He's so special that he lives and speaks in a very ordinary way. That can be done. You can spend a fortune to ensure that you look poor and look ordinary. You can have an entire team dedicated to managing your ordinary look. Like faded jeans.
Right. But then this test would fail.
That is why no test really succeeds. As long as you are prepared to be fooled. The other one would be able to read your intentions and fool you. What are you looking for? Are you looking for satiation of your desires? If that's what you're looking for, you will get someone who provides you that. As we said in the beginning, if you're looking for a brick, you will have someone who sells you a brick. What is it that you're looking for? You cannot blame the industry. You cannot blame the teachers. Let me ask you a question. You are looking for that high bliss called enlightenment. The end product of all spiritual processes. Correct? If you start off on the spiritual journey, ultimately, what is it that you hope for? You hope for that final, blissful, ultimate state in which you have the, all the divine sparkles and everything. Now this is what you're looking for, and you go to someone and he says that all of that is a myth. What would you do to him? If you're very polite, you just ignore him. If you are a little less well-mannered, you may even label him a cheat or an ignorant being. And if you are desperate and frustrated and you come across someone who says that what you're looking for does not exist, you may even slap that fellow. So, are you ready to receive the ordinary man? Should the question not be turned upon you? You say that he is cheating you. You say that the right object or the right good is not being given to you. But would you be accepting the right good if it is given to you? Why not take the blame upon yourself? Would all the fraudsters, the spiritual mafia, exist if the crowds were not so keen on being fooled? Come on, please tell me. And any sane person would be able to immediately say that what is going on is pure nonsense. I really do not believe that lakhs and crores of people are so low on intellect that they can't discern what is going on. You very well know that you are being cheated. But the strength, the very traction of your desire makes you forget that you are being cheated. It overpowers your discernment. Somebody is plucking out vibhutis from thin air. Right? Somebody is dressing up like a joker. Somebody is saying that a particular energy field exists in a particular place and has erected a huge Shivlingam.
Right. And this whole law of attraction business and stuff.
And then, all these things and
to get what you want and all.
If you have studied science even till class 10th, you would know that what they are talking of is bogus. And I refuse to believe that so few people have studied science till class 10th. So we know that what is happening is rubbish, but still we give in. Such is the traction of the desire. Hmm?
This is something that I would have come to in next 15 minutes or so, but it's good that we have reached here soon. So if I were to basically summarize what we have discussed up till now, we're basically putting emphasis on ordinariness. The teacher is ordinary.
The teacher is just alright. What you're calling as ordinariness, because a word like extraordinary exists. So the word ordinary kind of appears sick in comparison. It appears deficient in something.
Simple.
Not only simple, it appears lacking, because then there is something called extraordinary and the extra has been taken out of that word and what you're left with is the ordinary. So there is a particular deficiency. So I won't even call it ordinary. It is, natural, simple, straightforward, healthy, ubiquitous, everybody's ultimate desire. Yes, the very inner flow. That's what I'm talking of. That's from where I come. And that's not at all special, because you too often come from there. There is nobody who does not at least sometimes come from there. Yes, and it's something that you always really know and want. Who wants to be hated? Who wants to be lied to? Yes? Who wants to live in fear? You get it?
Right.
Yes? I'm able to talk to you simply and spontaneously because I really don't have to do much of preparation. I was with the team till a while back and there were 10 things that we were talking of. And it was all so ordinary. I was a little tense about something.
Right.
I was a little angry as well. I laughed at someone. I praised somebody. Deveshi came in and shared some food. He could not see that I was busy reading something. So I had to tell him that, please. The session was to start at 7 and I saw it was 7:20, so I pushed a par in. My hair were a mess, so I got them tied. Some of my data was in another laptop, so I got it transferred. It is still getting transferred. The hard disk is here. You tell me which of these things are really so wondrous that they are not available to you. Come on, please. Can't you transfer data to a laptop? Don't you sip tea with a friend? Don't you get angry at somebody? Don't you get praised by somebody and don't you praise somebody? Please answer this. Don't you lag behind your schedules? We were 20 minutes late when we started off today. This is where I come from. Now tell me, what is this enlightenment business all about? Now tell me what is so special about spirituality. The only thing I pulled up was my lowers. I didn't pull up my chakras before entering this room. It sounds disappointing, right? If it is so bland, if there is nothing extraordinary in it, then why? Why spend time? Why spend energy? I ask you the same thing, but in another way. Why spend time and energy on anything that promises to take you anywhere special? Because your pursuit of spirituality is just the same as your pursuit of money, beyond a point, that is. Prestige, recognition, all kinds of attainment, adventure, travel, excitement, happiness. Yes? I knew I would be recorded, so I wore this jacket. Just as you would have probably given yourself just a little bit of care and grooming before coming here. You would have, right? I too did that. Getting overweight, this tummy is there, so no, I'm doing this. So don't want it to be captured in the frame. I'm pretty sure almost everybody here knows how to hold his breath while getting photographed. It's also all pervasive and ordinary. Is it not? Nobody likes the tummy, yes? It's a basic thing. Health is our nature. The tummy betrays the fact that you have probably gone away from your nature. Otherwise, you couldn't have been bestowed with this. So you don't like it. Now, is there a great hidden principle in this that you must discover only when you meditate without food for 10 years in some God-forsaken cave of the Himalayas? You know it, don't you? Why must you meditate without food? Why? It's obvious. It's obvious that the body has a certain proportion, and then when that proportion gets awkward or skewed, nobody likes it and you too don't like it. And if you can know that, then you know everything. Or do you need to come from a lineage? You know what? This is some esoteric knowledge. The guru of my guru got it right from Lord Shiva. From nobody less than the very source himself. And then he whispered it in the ears of my guru. And then one special night, my guru went crazy with wisdom. And he beat this special mantra into my ears. As really, not ears.
This very setup just doesn't align with what we have heard. What all of us have heard. It is special. Everything here is special, in the sense. If you just, your life as a person, your life is full of extraordinary events.
Like?
Like, I mean, in 2000 you just decided to didn't do IS, and you were somebody who had the
It was
biggest.
a matter of simple self-interest, you see. One doesn't.
What I'm basically saying, how often do you find? I mean,
Hmm.
it is very rare.
Hmm.
Somebody who is
No,
in a well-to-do
see, it is
job.
not. See, it is not happening frequently among men. That does not mean that it is extraordinary. Mankind might have brought itself to a position where being simply healthy becomes a rarity. That does not mean that health by itself is a rare thing.
Could you like?
You may pollute the environment so much, that it may become rare to find a place where the air is just ordinary and pure. What do you call as pure air? Is pure air something special, or is it the most ordinary thing? The most ordinary thing, right? Right? Now you may pollute the world so much that it may become a very rare thing to find just simple, ordinary, pure air. Now will you start saying that purity is a rarity, purity is extraordinary? By saying that, you are only justifying all the corruption that you have exhausted into the air. Are you getting it? What you are saying is, it is normal to pollute the air. And clean air is something abnormal. You are kind of charging the air of an offense called purity. You have done something abnormal.
So extraordinary.
This is just like turning the whole thing upon its head.
So extraordinary are those who, despite living a messed up life, not taking any decision, not opting out. It's just minoritarian. It's not extraordinary.
Yes, wonderful.
It's just minoritarian.
Yes. Just because you find this thing happening in major numbers doesn't mean that this is something that is distinct to human nature. Doesn't mean that this is something that doesn't occur naturally to human beings.
No, but the whole idea of a guru, of an enlightened person, is that he or she is a minority. And minority equals to extraordinariness. It is, I mean, generally we all are not enlightened, we all are mediocre peoples who, let alone, I mean, having that sukshma drishti, we can't even see properly.
How do you know there is something called sukshma drishti? How do you not know that simple, basic looking itself is sukshma drishti? When you say sukshma drishti, you mean very subtle levels of perception. You mean something that comes to you with a lot of skill and with a lot of grace. How do you know that it is not very, very simple and direct looking?
Because it is in minority, because only the rarest.
It may have gone into minority just because of the belief that it is rare. No, let me put it this way. You are sent to fetch a fruit from the market that you probably don't know of by name. You may have tasted it. You may have tasted it. But you have gone to an alien land where it is called by another name. And they tell you that when you go to the market, this fruit will be extremely rare. You won't find it except maybe in 1 in 100 shops. Now you don't know the fruit. You have always only been given a name. Give me a name. Give me a name. Huh?
Kapaluputta.
Kapaluputta. Now, you already know Kapaluputta. You have been brought up on it. You very well know what Kapaluputta is. But you don't know Kapaluputta by name. Alright? Now you go to the market. Right? And there you find lots of packs containing that fruit and mentioning Kapaluputta. You find that it's available in every shop. Forget shops, it's lying unattended on the grounds too. It's hanging on all the trees by the wayside. You look at the very prevalence, yes, and the ubiquitousness of Kapaluputta. And then you are reminded of your knowledge that Kapaluputta is extremely rare. Now what do? You have been indoctrinated to believe that only 1 in 100 shops will have it. And here you are finding it everywhere. The thing is that it is packed fruit in most cases. And where you see it hanging, it is probably not of the same color and form and size as what you have previously seen. So you can't taste it. Or rather, you are not willing to taste it. All you see is the form and the name, and you have been told that it is very, very rare. And you see it everywhere. What would you do? You would dismiss all that is available to you as not true at all. You will say it is so rare, this can't be that. This is not original, this can't be that. Because I have been made to believe that only 1 in a million are lucky enough and deserving enough to be blessed with Kapaluputta. So how could I be that 1 in a million? Because I have never been 1 in a million. Never in my academics, never in my work, not in the way I look. Nothing in my life puts me in the top 0.001 percentile. So I could surely not be the one who is going to be blessed with that rare Kapaluputta. So even when it is there everywhere, you will keep rejecting it. Some spurious good. No, this could not be that.
So you're just saying that everybody sees it, but they deny themselves that I cannot really see it.
We all see it, we all have it. But because you have concepts about it, you reject what you see.
But isn't this also a game of the mind? So maybe this very formation, this very assumption, not coming to someone is also rare. It's also 1 in a million.
Come again?
That this assumption, somebody is taking this assumption as true. Somebody is not taking as true. And the ones who are not taking this as true are less. So isn't this very happening of whether the assumption works on you or not?
It's 1 in a million. Yes, it is 1 in a million. It is 1 in a million to not to believe all the propaganda. But what I'm asking is, the thing about not believing might be rare. But is the thing actually rare? Is Kapaluputta rare? Rare might be the one who does not fall to the propaganda. But is the thing rare? The thing is not rare at all. You have, by believing in the propaganda, turned the thing into something rare. You keep on saying love is only for the rare ones. You keep on saying satisfaction, contentment, fullness are only for the blessed ones.
I'm just saying that if you're believing into this propaganda and somebody is not, so that is also a rare thing.
It is a rare thing. To that I admit. But you must see that one does not achieve this rareness. This rareness is everybody's nature. Everybody has it. It is just that some who want more than what they have, they are the extraordinary ones. And then there are a few who are alright with what they have. Why call them extraordinary? And I'm not merely engaging in wordplay. It has a certain and very important implication. The implication is that that which you are looking for is not something that you can go out and get. That is something that you find that you already have when you stay put. Now there is a difference between going out and staying put. Do you see that difference?
When this very occurrence of believing and not believing is rare. So how do you claim that what you say is ordinary? Because this in itself is an epitome or an example of ordinary.
Because you too keep falling back to it and then fall prey to your belief that this is not something worth it. So you want to hop on to something else. You want to jump over to something else. Had this not been ordinary, you wouldn't have kept coming back to it again and again. In spite of all your attempts to be agitated, for example, to be excited, for example, you do not like agitation. After a while, you say you want peace. You too keep coming back to it. The point where I am standing is the point that you too love. It's just that I keep standing there and you think this point is not exactly where you want to be, so you keep looking for, greener pastures.
But that is what maybe the ones who, likewise, there is one guy who's sitting on at 0 and he says that my life, my rules, I'm happy with what I have. The one moves a little further and sees that, okay, this much is okay, but I don't want to go to the next point. Now there is something stopping the one who's at 0. There's something stopping at somebody who's at level 2 maybe. And there is another one who's on the other pit stop. So there's something stopping somebody and something else.
The same thing. The same thing that keeps one at 0 is the thing that pulls the one at 2 towards 0. It is also the same thing that pulls the one at -5 towards 0. All of them experience its gravitation.
So somebody who's able to break it or maybe not experience it at all. I mean, I'm not sure whether
there is nobody who doesn't experience it at all.
Yes.
There is nobody.
There's somebody who can break it.
Break it in the sense?
Break it in the sense that the gravitation is pulling. But there is something more important that is calling.
No, the gravitation is always pulling you towards the center, 0. You are the one who try to run away from the center and are attracted to 10 other things.
Yeah, and somebody is not being attracted.
The one who is not being attracted is not doing something special. The one who is being attracted is looking for something special. Don't you see the difference clearly?
But that very thing that somebody is looking and somebody is not looking, isn't that thing in itself a rarity?
You don't call it a rarity. Call it an abnormality. Because something is rare only when it is not available, a matter of struggle, a matter of finding when going out.
But isn't this a struggle for the one who's trying to get out and trying to come back? As in,
he is not trying to come back. He is being constantly pulled back. He is trying to go here and there. He himself.
So there is obviously a struggle because there is a conflict of being pulled back.
The conflict is the belief itself that it is not there. The belief that it is not there is the conflict.
So somebody has that belief which is overpowering his whole movement.
So he has something special. the belief. And then there is somebody who is naked, without beliefs. Now who is special?
No, that is what I'm saying. But if there are 100,000 people who have that restlessness,
That which is a belief.
yes, and there is one or two or few people who see that there is something.
Who don't have that belief. That seeing is not something special. That is a nakedness.
Okay, so by default, relative sense, this must be more special than the ones who have.
Don't you see this? There are three who are simply feeling that the weather is good. Neither too hot nor too cold. Exactly that which suits their nature. And they are sitting without any clothes. And then there are many who are wearing fancy stuff. And wearing fancy stuff, they are now looking for places that are conducive
Too fanciness.
to fancy dresses. They are the ones now running out. You see, we all sit here. And the weather is just optimum. So we can do away with our dresses. Then walk in a group of people who are all heavily clad. Because they are heavily clad, what do they feel here? It's hot. And then they run away. They say, this is not the center. This is not zero. I must reach somewhere where the temperatures are a little lower so that we feel all right. Now who is special? The ones who are naked or the ones who are draped in all kinds of...
But that is, yes, this is from the point of what you are looking from. I am just saying that from the point of from where they come, the ones who are wearing a lot of clothes.
Whatever they are wearing, their eyes are still exposed to the elements. Their noses are still out in the open, otherwise they couldn't breathe. So there is a part of them that knows that the weather is all right. It is just their own internal dishonesty. They too know what that is. They are just attached to their fancy dresses. They say that instead of getting rid of our dresses, we will get rid of the room itself. Instead of getting rid of our dresses, we will rather get rid of this room and find a room that is more in sync with the dress. Do you see how they are inverting the whole thing? They are not finding a dress that suits the weather. They are trying to find weather that suits the dress.
So basically they avoid to see the absolute. They are more into their own relative.
They have been poor souls led to believe something, and they have been believing it since so long that they find it terribly difficult to give up their dresses. The dresses have been on them since quite a while now. It has become difficult for them to, just unbutton and be free of the shirt.
So the very base of having the luxury of being ordinary is grace.
Which is available because your noses are always out in the open.
So you're always tasting the absolute. It's just that
You're
you
always
choose to be
tasting the
relative.
absolute, of course. It's just that you have become too fascinated with wow, nice.
So
you
what
have
if somebody-
forgotten the touch, the raw touch of your own skin. You have become too...
Exactly. That is what I've been coming to. That when you say that they have forgotten the raw touch of their own skin. So maybe when they look at that fur that they have upon them,
Yes.
maybe they take that as their reality.
If they could take that as reality, they'll have to forget their nose and lips, which are still out in the open.
But right now, you just said that they have forgotten. So when somebody has forgotten something,
That is why it is a very dishonest forgetfulness. You have forgotten, rather you are claiming that you have forgotten when you haven't really forgotten.
because this is always there.
The nose is always out in the open. You are breathing in the air.
And if they say there is no nose, then they're already dead.
Then they are already dead, and which they are not. Which they are not.
So The absolute is always present.
The absolute is always present and you are always in touch with it. But then there is something called ego and free will which operate.
Can I?
Please.
So, whatever I've heard till now here, so what that the whole concept of going back to zero and that pulling you towards it, it seems to me that it assumes that all of us as humans are born alike at the very base of it. But do you really believe that? Like, for example, a person who is dishonest, is he being dishonest to himself when he's being dishonest to you?
Don't you see that at the most fundamental plane, we all are just one, exactly the same. I'll ask you a few basic questions which are very, very basic because we are talking of being born. So the basics. Have you ever seen anybody who enjoys being hitted?
Being hit.
Being hitted or being hit, both the same. Ever seen anybody who really wants that he should be told lies? Ever seen anybody who is fond of death? Don't you see that we all are born the same? We all love immortality. We all are attracted to the truth. We all know what love is. Have you ever seen anybody who likes to be kept enslaved, chained? Man, woman, animal, bird, anything? Don't you see we all love freedom? Don't you see we are all born the same?
But if it was to be really that simple at the base of it, like we are meant to feel the same things and act
No.
Okay.
What you feel, what you experience, that depends on your body, that depends on your upbringing.
Right.
What I'm talking of is something which is not bodily. Your urge for freedom is not bodily. Had it been bodily, then it couldn't have been present across a whole spectrum of bodies. Look at the body of the bird, it wants freedom. Look at the body of the lion, it wants freedom. Look at the body of the infant, it wants freedom. Look at the body of the black man, the white man, the yellow man, the brown man, the Martian. We all want freedom. So it's something that does not have to do with body. At the level of the body, we all are different. At the level of upbringing, conditioning, education, we all are different. There, the details and the specifics kick in. So there you will find only differences. No two people look exactly alike. So obviously, we all are different. But it depends on the level, At the level of looks, we all are different. But you must not be addicted to mere looks. See that which is common and so very persuasive. Even if you go to a strange land and if you find a child there, you open out your arms towards him.
But
And he comes rushing to you.
Exactly my point. If we don't have the same mind, all of us. All of us have a mind of our own, and we choose to act in situations depending on what we've experienced or what we believe in. But is that really, always determined by external factors? Is it not something that we are born with? Like, for example, maybe I was born
Your
to be a
birth
kind
too is an external factor. Why are you thinking that your birth is something internal? Your birth too is an external factor. What does your birth give you? Your birth only gives you tendencies.
Okay.
What are you born as? You are born as a whole packet of tendencies. There is something that your birth does not give you. It is independent of your birth. I was in the middle of that example. I was liking it, the way it came. So you open out your arms to a kid. You don't know the kid. You're in a strange land. The ages are different, the cultures are different, everything is different, and the language is different, and the kid comes running to you. Now, at what level are you meeting him? What is it that the kid understands? How has this communication happened? Don't you see that there is something that you have in common with the kid? And the same thing happens when you go to a puppy. The same thing happens even when you go to the little one of what? Of a viper. Huh? Or an orangutan.
Bitten you in the past. If the puppy has bitten you in the past, or something has happened which has created a kind of hatred towards that thing.
Yes, yes.
Then you would not react in the same way as the person who has not experienced that thing.
Yes, but there are moments when those memories are simply overpowered by something much more meaningful, and then you again find yourself acting in unguarded ways. Now you are no more cautious towards the puppy. When the puppy comes to you, if in that moment you have been free and relaxed, if in that moment you have just been kissed by somebody, you will forget what the puppy has done to you in the past. The memory may again flash back to you after a couple of seconds, but those 2 seconds are enough proof of the fact that you can operate even without the mental baggage. I'll give you another example. I mean, look at that small period when you are not yet fully in the state of waking consciousness. So you are asleep and you are about to wake up. So all the conscious prejudices and memories and experiences have yet not been fully booted. Right? The computer is just starting. It was in the sleep mode and it has not yet fully come in the waking mode. So the reservoir of memories and experiences is still not fully active and accessible. And you are sleeping and you are drowsy and you see a face over your eyes. Yeah? Sleeping and you see a face over your eyes and you very gently smile. Very gently. Later on, you may come to recognize that face as that of your wife, of your kid, of your father, or your enemy. And then your reactions would be accordingly conditioned. If it's the face of the wife, then you would probably, bend yourself up a little and kiss her. If it's the father, then you will say, if it's the enemy, then you will quickly turn over to the other side. He might be stabbing you. But otherwise, if you're not yet fully conscious and all that you hear is a few noises from afar and all that you see is a vague face, then don't you see that your reaction, your rather response, whatever you call it, is different than what it would have been in the total conscious waking state?
But sir, the major part of our life we live not in a semi-consciousness state, but
That
in
is
a fully
true.
consciousness state.
That is true. We are not talking of the durations that you spend in this state versus the other. We are talking of the proof of the existence of the other.
That is there.
Even 1 second of that state is enough proof. And if it is possible in 1 second, it is possible to live a lifetime in that state. It happens. I don't know how anybody can miss it, because it happens very, very frequently. It happens many times during a day. It might be happening for hours altogether. How is it possible to be missed? That remains a bigger puzzle. Have you ever seen yourself smiling to a stranger? Have you ever found yourself tapping your feet to a song that you don't really comprehend? Does it happen or not? Don't you see that you have to be really conscious of everything, that there is something deeper than consciousness? And at that level, which is deeper than consciousness, there is real relationship. Relationship that does not depend on experience, relationship that does not depend on thought or conditioning or upbringing. Yes? If relationship is at the conscious level, then it would be torn apart by the self-contradictory forces of consciousness, which are all dualistic and hence self-contradictory.
I've been listening to the three conversations with you have,
Yes.
with you have three gentlemen, and I don't know whether you sensed it or not, but the common sentiment that was being literally thrown at you was that no, extraordinariness does exist. I mean, it was being said that but, and you were being trying to tell them no, we all are one in one. I mean, deeply intrinsically, we all are one.
If you intend to say extraordinary in reverence, in love, I'm prepared to accept.
That's all right. Bhakti.
I'm prepared to accept. That which is so much here and so very everywhere is indeed extraordinary because it is beautiful. So in that sense, it is extraordinary because it is much, much higher than the states in which we have cursed ourselves to live in.
Right.
So it is extraordinary. But that extraordinary is all prevalent. So it is ordinary. That extraordinary is easily accessible. So it is ordinary. Now we can't really believe our good luck, right? If it is extraordinary, how can it be so easily accessible? Our situation is that we have been brought up in a culture which tells us that all that is good in life must be strived for. Unless there is conflict and friction and strife, you cannot get anything that is good. So we say that it is too good to be true that the extraordinary is easily available. Too good to be true. Nah, fantasy. Can't happen.
And it is this deep-seated belief in you being so unfortunate. I mean, you not being that, you not being all right, is something that really feeds the spiritual industry.
It feeds the spiritual industry.
We had begun, I mean, the first question that I asked you was, what are you selling? So, we had begun by looking at one side of the coin. Now it is time we come to the other side. Why are we buying what they are selling? I mean, why are we buying at all? Why are we going out shopping?
The seller develops a stake in keeping you feel incomplete and worthless. A customer who really gains or returns to this ordinariness is a lost customer.
Exactly.
Do you see this? A customer will remain a customer only as long as he is hunting for something important, only as long as he is feeling inferior. The day the customer stops feeling inferior, the teacher loses him. So, the spiritual industry has a vested stake in keeping everybody feel deprived. You do not yet have it. Because only if you do not have it, you will turn up at their shops and then offer whatever they demand. It involves a lot of money, right? Billions of dollars.
Right. Merely in India, it is around $40 billion. It's a $40 billion economy, and we are not still taking into account America, which is the hub of self-help. Self-help, that brings us to self-help. This very popular term, self-help. It thrives upon, this is the vicious circle of self-help, right? They create a lack, they patronize you, and then they promise to fulfill that. I mean, I would want you to please speak on this, and also the crucial difference between self-help and spirituality.
You see, this self that you want to help, or this self that wants to help itself, wants only one thing. It wants happiness. Right? And this notion that man must be loudly, permanently happy is a very recent notion. It's a very American notion.
The American dream, the great American dream.
So that is the reason why self-help too is a recent thing.
Mm.
The ones who came up with the ancient texts never ever said that happiness is the goal of human life, or that that happiness is the goal of these texts. They said the more you want happiness, the more you fall into the trap. In fact, if you look at pictures of anybody, historical pictures, more than 100 years old, you would hardly find anybody smiling or laughing.
Ordinary faces.
Or very ordinary faces. Faces like those of ordinary animals.
And nowadays,
this notion that you must be found smiling at all times, at all costs, is a disease. It is a disease of the so-called modern mind, or postmodern, if you please. Are you getting it?
Right.
You look at your faces as you're sitting here right now. What if you were grinning all the time? What would you have understood? And are you in pain right now that you're not grinning? Are you not all right? You're all right. Then what's so special about showing your teeth? Please. In fact, if somebody is showing his teeth beyond a certain measure in the course of this conversation, it is quite likely that he or she is just not here, is totally missing the whole thing. Are you getting this? This self that needs help wants just one thing: happiness, pleasure. Nothing else. And you have to go to the nature of happiness, the very phenomena of happiness, and see what it is all about. It's not difficult. We experience happiness, and we see quite frequently people who are displaying symptoms of happiness around us. It's all very behavioral, right? Happiness is something you can easily detect. If you have a sensor, it can tell you when there are happy faces around. A few muscles and will contract in a particular way, the teeth will get exposed. You'll have eyes that widen a little, and these things will happen. It's a very optical thing, happiness. Sensual. Optical. Sensual is more correct, because often when you are happy, you also start giggling and laughing. So the ears are also involved in happiness. Alright, the tummy also starts bouncing, so the whole body is probably involved. Can't you observe it? Is it not available to be seen? Are we all so retarded? Have you not seen the whole process of pleasure? Have you not been through it again and again? Come on, please. Do you really need to read a book on self-help? If they want to tell you how to be happy, you know better than them what makes you happy. And what makes you happy is just 1 out of 5 or 7 things which we all share in common. Food, sense of security, sex, money, knowledge, power. I have stopped at 6. I couldn't find a 7th one. Maybe you can add 2 or 3 more to this list, but the list won't run long. We would be exhausted of words. Such a very common thing is this happiness. Now, why do you need to read a book on self-help? Just observe it. It's all around you. And you don't need to do anything special to observe it, please. Unless you're hell-bent on avoiding it, the observation happens by itself. How can you miss observing? That is a mystery. How can you miss observing what is going on?
And one can see that these 6 things, I mean, this list would change, 500 years hence, and
You can change
totally
it,
different.
of course. The tendency to feel happy would, however, remain. The expressions of the tendency would change. And by the way, the items on the list haven't really changed since the last few thousand years at least. Man wants woman, man wants power, man wants good food, man wants a sense of security, man wants to feel safe in knowledge and information. They haven't really changed. So I doubt whether, the coming centuries or millennia would be able to challenge them.
The want for happiness would remain, but what makes you happy would change.
Yeah, that can change. That anyway differs from person to person.
Right now, an iPhone makes you happy.
Of course.
50 years back,
Of course.
even a Nokia made you happy.
Of course. You want a margarita, she wants a veggie supreme. So the items vary.
And again, it is the market forces that decide.
It is the market forces. Very well said.
Which will decide
Yes.
what will make us happy.
Yes.
Buy a refrigerator,
Yes.
LG, life will be good and all of that.
But you can again add something to it by saying that even if it is not the market forces, there is something else. Even if you had not been tutored by the market, still even animals strive for happiness.
It is there. Now the question is how to not fall into this trap. Because there's so many out there. It's a clear-cut equation. You want it, they'll give it. Where is the scope to see? Where is the scope to see that what you're wanting is something you already have?
Life will always keep bringing to you glimpses of the real. Even if you are determined to not to see, life will keep doing its best to make you see. We talked of the gravitational pull that will always be there. You will keep running into situations, into people, into environments where you will be forced to see and acknowledge. Now you have to ask yourself, how long do you want to resist? How long do you want to resist that which keeps on calling you, which keeps on coming back to you over and over?
But sir, won't you accept that the very force of this industry is that it would minimize such possibilities? It would give you an
The
environment.
industrialists may want to minimize these possibilities, but spirituality stands above these industrialists. They may want to minimize these possibilities, but spirituality itself will keep bringing more and more of these chances to you. That is called grace. They may want to totally insulate you. They may want to create an environment where you get no glimpse of the real. Still, the real would find a way to come to you. So you need not worry. Let the real decide when and how to come to you. And let me tell you, he is very liberal with his coming. He keeps coming very, very frequently, and it has no intention of guising himself. He in fact tries to come to you in forms that are acceptable to you, forms in which you become approachable. You keep presenting him, you keep rejecting him or it, whatever. I don't want to personalize the whole matter. So you have to decide how long do you want to keep your eyes closed to the obvious. Yes? And don't blame it on the spiritual industry. Our nature, our heart, that which runs in our blood, that which lies at our very seed, is too strong to be defeated by any of these gurus or the industrialists. It is just too adamant, too real, too firm, too indestructible. It cannot be defeated.
Is it?
It is, of course. Of course.
We see around, doesn't...
It hasn't been defeated ever. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been talking. What do you think? We are talking because of the patronage of the industrialists? And let me tell you, in every house, there are kids who are talking the way we are talking. Let me tell you, by the side of every dilapidated road, there are puppies who are rolling over each other and playing with each other. No guru can defeat them. The trees always keep on coming up with new and fresh leaves. The sham masters, the sellers of enlightenment cannot arrest that. It is happening on their own. The true keeps presenting itself to you in 1,000 forms. You have to tell how long will you keep refusing to see the puppies, the trees, the leaves. How long will you keep refusing all that?
So I don't know to what extent or whether I should or not romanticize this matter. The way I see it,
it's extremely romantic. Why you
no, but I want
shy
to,
of
I want to look
romanticizing
at the ugly fact of it. Some stupid
it's-
guy
it's-
becomes a spiritual guru, uploads a video, and then there are 5 million views, and somebody trying to express something really genuine, and what's the scenario. So you can't say that trees would
the
watch.
one who is expressing something genuine is saved of the 5 million idiots, and he gets 2 nice companions, and they have a very beautiful romantic
The
evening.
one who is genuine wants to. He's compassionate toward those.
He's
5 million
compassionate.
also.
He sends
It would be
out,
so nice if they come and see.
You
this.
remember how we started this?
Right.
He sends out whatever he is. Now, how it is received by the other is something that he is helpless about and can't manage and doesn't want to manage. He has done his best. Now, if only 2 respond to his call, and there are 5 million on the other side, I don't think he has reason for disappointment. Though, in all honesty, I must confess that I do get disappointed.
Right. And when because I've been associated with you as a student since many years, and when I see your work, there's a plethora of work that you have done in last 10, 12 years. So you must be feeling disappointed with what's happening. How these marketers, disguised
There is
as
always
masters.
more work. There is always more work to do. I haven't stopped.
No, they don't really do anything, and then
They may not do anything, but I have more work to do, so I don't really have space for disappointment.
See,
What I have done is behind me, and it was the need of that particular moment. Now there is much more to do, so I couldn't sit wailing at the fate of my previous work. Right now we are talking, and after that, you very well know, when this gets over, there's much more that's waiting for me, and I'm fully absorbed in it. I said I absolutely love it.
won't you be happier if this could be happening in a bigger
I
hall with
really
more
don't
people?
have the space to think about that. As you're asking me this question, should I be thinking about what makes me happier? As you're asking me this, should I be thinking about what makes me happier? That doesn't mean that I'm satisfied with this. That doesn't mean that I'm dissatisfied with this.
Yes.
That only means what engages me is not satisfaction or dissatisfaction. You can call it a certain You can call it love, you can call it dharma, you can call it one's inevitable duty, you can call it a total helplessness.
I mean, I would speak personally. I don't want to do name calling, but I mean, as somebody who has received, I get disappointed a lot when I see that so much stupidity is floating around.
Even I do get disappointed, but then something comes up. We said, no, real keeps knocking. So you don't really have too much time available for disappointment. Something else comes up. Life doesn't leave you just jobless to keep feeling disappointed. There is so much around you. I mean, you can't insulate yourself in an enclosure and say that I am going to feel disappointed for the next 3 hours and kindly do not disturb. Things happen. They are happening continuously.
No, I mean an active disappointment, a disappointment that can produce, that can revolt, that can...
You don't need an active disappointment. You don't need to really revolt. Because revolt is always in context of the outer. You don't like the outer, so you say that you are going to revolt. That is not really needed. Something much more powerful is available. That which you are, if you just keep living by that happens to be a big revolution in itself. Mind my words, happens to be. You're not really trying to revolt. Just living your way, you are a revolutionary.
So what we are basically, I mean, I had come here with a mind that wanted to investigate this whole phenomena within a sociological domain, but as we went along, we saw that we are entering the psychological. We are not just restricted to the sociological. We also went inside the mind of the one who is buying it, right? We focused less on the seller. So it was kind of an holistic analysis that we did of the industry. And although I'm impatient. I really want to speak names, but I would rather not.
I know.
That would be ugly. Last 2 sections. What is money in this context? So much money is involved. So much power. So much money.
Everybody wants to earn money.
I mean, back then, when religion used to be the dominant force, I mean, religion would say charity, donate, right? The more you donate, you need not be poor, as Jesus had said, right? The poor won't, if I'm getting it right, be allowed to let in. No.
The rich.
The rich. I mean, now the scene is different. Right? You need a lot of money to do these courses, 12-step programs. You need to subscribe. Self-help requires a lot of money. I mean, religion said, don't be so rich. So this whole obsession, even these masters, godmen have so much money, such power, such flamboyance they have. And when I see you, when I see you behaving, interacting, I don't really see that flamboyance. I don't know whether it is intentional or not. Where do you place yourself in this whole scenario? And what is the role of money, power?
See, everybody wants money, right? No. When you question the godmen or the gurus, what do you find special? Everybody wants money. They too have found a way of earning money.
But if they're really, spiritual, they won't. Because money is fundamentally antithetical.
When you want to earn money, like any other businessman, you don't quite reveal your business model or your costs. That's a fundamental thing in earning money, is it not? So everybody has the same motivation. You want to earn money. As like any other clever, average businessman, you hide the specifics of your product. Right. All you want is that your product be sold at the highest price possible. So somebody sells something, somebody sells something, somebody sells spirituality, that's all right.
Moksha is in these days and easily
moksha
sellable.
and all that. See, it is not a matter of having money or not having money. It is not as if I'm starving. By Indian standards, I'm living in fact, opulence. I have enough to meet my needs. I drive a nice car. I don't have any problems with in that regard. It is just that when we are talking of this that we have been talking of, money is simply not the issue. We are talking of something else. And if somebody has money as the central thing in his mind, then that is it. Then he's after money. Which is just okay. I mean, it's all right. There are so many shops. You too have a shop. Fine. Go after money. That's what you want.
Yeah.
If money has been your driver, then go after money. And customers are cheated in every industry, right? You would be cheated even in the spiritual industry. It is just that your chances of being cheated in the spiritual industry are higher, because here the product is not really verifiable. So you cannot have an independent auditor or organization to certify, like ISO or like the Food and Testing Authority and these things. You can have nobody who can guarantee that the seller is not violating particular norms, that he is not making supernormal profit, or that his product holds up to certain standards. So nobody can guarantee that, because what you are selling is the ineffable. What you are selling is something that can't be seen, touched, heard, proven, verified. So $100.
I think this is also a matter of time. You might find one Indian spirituality organization coming up. With all the meta scientists.
Auditors.
Yeah,
Meta
auditors.
I'm sure something must have.
Somebody will some
No.
smart MBA will come up with this business idea.
We can sense low energy in an organization.
Yes.
No, it's already there. I mean, in the book stall, in the book fair, Delhi book fair, there was a stall that claimed that it could.
Spiritual quotient, I recall that, yes. Come and measure your spiritual quotient.
SQ.
So what's your post-graduation degree? I'm a guru in spirituality.
You may as well have universities offering these programs. Bachelors in spirituality, specializing in
There
chakras.
is a spiritual guru.
Sometimes it seems it's better to just wake up.
Do your own thing. That's it. And if that somehow makes you a teacher, wonderful. If it doesn't make you a teacher, then there is something else. Something else which is equally a gift. One doesn't set out to be a teacher. One doesn't enter teaching like one enters a profession. You do your own thing, and that thing, I said one can talk about it endlessly, right? It's about getting up from here, going back to that room there at the back, and then sipping my tea quickly, and then remembering that today I wanted to go to the gym and it's already getting late, and then remembering that today we have asked Omkar to not to cook dinner, and then we have to go out. It's all these things. That's it. It's all these things. If you're not a guru, then there would be something else. I mean, let's play soccer. All right. Something else. What's so fascinating about becoming a teacher?
The way I began it had a reason. I mean, because you're somebody who has been saying since long that it can't be, it's not a thing, right? Can't even be named.
If it can't even be named, what has Kabir been singing of all his life?
It can be expressed.
Of course.
Expressed.
All your expression will be colored in it.
Right.
Hmm? So we'll go and we'll order dinner tonight, and the way we talk to the waiter,
Right.
that is that.
That is it.
The way we talk to the waiter. The way you look at all those who are with you. The way you can joke, the way you know that you can't afford anything better and yet you are all right with it. You know these things. And the way you're not all right with it. Even that is that. So
I was basically wanting to catch hold of you. I mean, I wanted you to say...
I've given myself totally to you.
Yeah.
I mean...
I wanted you to say something that I would hold on to, and then...
Everything.
But you
everything.
didn't really say things that usually one hears from the marketers. They would make big claims. They would say that they have gone through this and that, and now they have this that they want to really share with you. All that they need is $500. Right? You didn't...
Wait. We too charge money. Right? The fellow who's there on that screen might probably be paying in dollars. Right? So it's not as if we are money abhorrent. Are you getting it? But the thing is, it doesn't start there and it doesn't end there.
Just incidental.
It's happening. Come on. It's happening. Yes.
I have a question. When we say that there are people who are influenced by a certain kind of community, and then there are other people who are not. So there are people who are A, and then there's the complement of A, right? So what I want to understand is that in terms of how you would express it, what is the best way of interaction between A and A complement? Because what I feel is that when I think that I am not A and the revolution comes in, I either feel cool in the room or I feel the elite. Now the problem with that is that once I have an understanding that the person next to me is not somebody who I am, the ignorance kicks in. And the companionship cannot happen then, according to me, in my mind. Right?
If you can see that the fellow is falling prey to all the forces that are pulling him off center,
Right.
then will not there be a greater sense of companionship? Come on. Aren't you being pulled in all kinds of directions all the time? If he is experiencing the same, does he not seem more like your brother then?
But once the ignorance comes in, because he or she is reluctant to absorb in my...
Are we all not reluctant? If he is reluctant, then is it not something that he shares with all of us? There are only two things you see that we all seem to share. One, the fundamental truth, and second, our reluctance towards it.
Right.
Don't we all share that? If you find him slipping, does that not remind you of yourself? So he's a brother then.
Right.
Right. Brothers in the gutter.
Yes.
So you slip, so do I. If we can't relate at the level of the Atman,
Right.
then we relate in the depths of the gutter. If we don't find our hands joined in the skies, then we find that we are all wallowing in the mud, down in the earth. So, who is not sexually attracted? Who is not frustrated? Who is not disappointed? Who does not want more? Who has never felt jealous? Who does not feel insecure? Who does not tremble and shiver? Does that not show us that we are all one family? Is his fear fundamentally different from your fear or mine? Come on, please. Is his guilt any different from mine? or his ignorance or anything. I've talked a lot about how we are united in love, but are we also not united in our ignorance? So how do you then call the other an outsider when he displays ignorance? In fact, then it is easier to see your own face in his face.
So it seems that you're kind of a misfit in this industry, or probably you're just out of it. You have nothing to do with it, or you're just
The industry seems eager to appropriate me. I have never staked my claim or my seat in the industry. So, I did not set out to be in the industry or out of the industry. I'm just doing, I repeat, my own thing. I'm doing my own thing. If that happens to overlap with some of the activities of this industry, it's not by design. If it happens, right? And there are a lot of things that might appear common. The fact that I too speak, that I deliver lectures, that here we have an audience, that people relate to me as a guru or whatever. That's how they call me. So, if that happens, it is just happening. One day it may all just suddenly stop. One day the industry might discover that this fellow is a charlatan and he is a total alien and he shouldn't have been allowed entry. And then the industry may say, no, he's not, so fine. Never wanted to get in.
no problems.
Never wanted to get out. No problems with being out. I'm doing my thing. If it brings me here, it's alright. If it takes me there, it is alright. I'm a slave to that thing.
It's been a lovely conversation, and as always,
Let nobody here think that any of what I have said or what he has asked has come out of any kind of preparation or whatever. Before you came in, we were very normal people here, doing extremely normal stuff. Somebody was cursing somebody got kicked. Somebody was snoring in the daytime and he got recorded, and then he felt, bad that he has been recorded. So he avenged himself by doing the same thing on the person who recorded. So it's a very... And if you are jobless enough to stay for a few hours more after the session closes, you will again find very base, little trivial, mean things happening here. And this happens to be, in the words of many, the foremost center of spirituality in today's times. But you will find people squabbling over money. We'll go to have dinner tonight outside because it's not been cooked here, and people will say, you owe me 10 rupees more. Out with it, and if that doesn't happen, then he's not allowed the front seat in the car. And things like these are going to happen. And if you watch that, then you will say, these are cheats. We thought that these are spiritually advanced souls. But look here, they are fighting over the quality of the sambar. And none of them knows any silence. Chatterboxes. Yak, 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 yak. You won't find anything here that is not what you are. You'll only find yourself here. In fact, you'll be able to rate very, very fully. You won't find any special spiritual practices taking place. You won't find that people have gone to the library and sunk into their books. You'll just see your own life here. Nothing different at all. Maybe a little bit of honesty. That's all. People here cheat just as much as anybody else does. It's just that when they cheat, they know what they are doing. Disappointing or liberating? You figure out.